Hello, everyone. My name is Alexander Menkov. Today is 20th of January, 2023, and I'm continuing my series, Daily Reality with Alex. Today, I would like to speak about a very interesting topic and a topic that is very strongly, of course, ignored because it's part of the invisible that is affecting the visible and the realm of the effects. And this is the reality of the EMF. I actually came to the realization that there is something behind this abbreviation EMF, and everything happened because I was part of a 6-month program called Elite Mentorship Forum, and it was abbreviated EMF. And later on, when I was speaking with different type of people, hey, Alex, what it's all about? What is it about the electromagnetic field, or what it's this? Is it interesting? What is this EMF abbreviation, and so on and so on? Then I started to think about and to focus upon understanding what is behind this electromagnetic field. Of course, a lot of us know about the existence of electromagnetic field, but very little of us know that it is something that has been around only for the last maybe 100 plus years. It was developed strongly in the last 100 years as understanding, and a lot of the people were thinking that this is one of the most important things that was revealed for the human awareness and in the human experience. But for me, the more important part of the electromagnetic field is why it is out there, a part of our invisible part of the reality, but still it's part of the physical matter reality. And what is interesting for me here is to understand, just to change the microphone, is to understand how this electromagnetic field is something from which we as human beings, once we understand, we can work with it, and it is there in order to support us. And more we are diving into the construct of the electromagnetic field. What we are understanding that it is part of the energy, but it is more than the reason energy appears, because energy is there only if there is motion, only if there is movement. But the electromagnetic field in the moment, around me, around you, in everywhere we are moving in the air, there is this electromagnetic field which is full with energy, which is full with power, which is full with all of its potential to be released immediately. The only thing, once we realize that this electromagnetic field is so strong, is when we have these lightings, and we know that it's ionized atmosphere and so on and so on. But we see these lightings and we understand that there is something more to the air that is part of the physical materiality. Well, actually, when we deep dive into the electromagnetic field and why this is very strongly something that all of us are to be aware of, is once we understand that all the things that are the so-called forms in the universe are having their own personal electromagnetic fields, as well as they are interacting with each other and are part of bigger electromagnetic fields. For example, we as human beings living in the realm of the Earth plane, we are part of the electromagnetic field of the Earth, but also each one of us has its own electromagnetic field. But it's not only this, but each of our organs have its own electromagnetic field. Then each of our cells and molecules have their own electromagnetic fields. And if you go even to the most small parts that exist, everything in its deepness, it's energy that is generated by an electromagnetic field. It is very important to understand that even our human body, one of the functions it has is to generate this electromagnetic field for us. And through this electromagnetic field, we are actually in interactions with bigger electromagnetic fields around us that are able to interact and to come into collision or in different types of collaborations, so to say. Then we as human beings, are we able to rule and to consciously understand how this electromagnetic field is working? Are we in necessity to get aware of everything that is happening with the electromagnetic field on a daily level? Because the electromagnetic field, based on the way how the Earth is stationed towards the sun and towards the stars, it's different. It depends on the sun every day. So electromagnetic field is changed every day for the human being. And basically, it is something that we don't take into account. There are a lot of people that are very much aligned every day to the elements, to the stars, to the way everything is in the physical matter reality aligned, and the type of electromagnetic fields that are created. But of course, once we realize that we are part of all these big pool of electromagnetic field, and that energy is something that is created because of the existence of electromagnetic fields, then we are to understand how we are to energize ourselves, but not only on the level of how the body is feeling, but also on the level of vibration and on the level of energy, where it is possible once we understand how to interact with and through and by our electromagnetic field with everything that is out there around us. Why this is important, some of us can ask themselves. It is important because it is part of the structure of everything that is invisible. And then we can go into a much more deeper reflections regarding what is the meaning of power and what is the meaning of force, and why power and force cannot exist without the potential of the electromagnetic field through which everything is moving forward into the reality. Of course, it is very hard to put this into daily practicality, because this is the purpose of knowledge, this is the purpose of awareness, and this is the purpose of consciousness. Consciousness is there not to make us to be more airy, to be more spiritual, to be more disconnected from the daily reality, but awareness and consciousness and intent are there in order to make us functional and interactional daily reality beings. That's why it is very important, once we know that we have our own field for which we are responsible as human beings, then we start cherishing it, and then we are willing to be in such a state daily that our electromagnetic field is working for us. But Alex, is it possible this type of energy to be transformed or transcended or transported from one place to another without there to be proximity? Is it working only on proximity, or can we transform it or transport it or transmit it to each other, even if we cannot see each other, even if there is no any connection, and without taking into consideration time and space? Of course, in order to understand the answers of every question, we are to validate it in our daily reality. But for sure, once you are starting to feel your energetical levels, once you are understanding that you are and I am in interaction with bigger fields that are out there, and once I am aligning my energetical being with everything that is inside of me, and then once I'm expressing myself into the electromagnetic fields that are all over, we are then able to transmit our own personal electromagnetic fields, which are quite unique. There is a very interesting thing and fact that all the different signals that we are transmitting, because we are unique and authentic, then our own personal energy and electromagnetic field is never going to be lost, in the sense that it is becoming just part of everything and it is depersonalized. No, everything that we are transmitting is very individual and authentic and is resonating on the level of vibration at which we are in the moment. And this is why when we are interacting, for example, with people, when you go into a room, there is someone that is taking all the attention. There is someone always in a room that becomes an informal leader. It is not only because the way he or she speaks, it's more about the invisible. It's more about the energetic field that is around this person, positive or negative, because there are fields that can actually make us not so comfortable. They can still be powerful, they can still be very resourceful. So this is part of understanding our reality and understanding our potential as human beings to use our invisible energetical fields because of the electromagnetic field. And I know a lot of, especially in the spiritual ascending type of movements, they don't like duality. In the physical matter reality, we are constantly and daily experiencing duality. For those of you who don't know, duality is when we have opposites. And for me personally, the human being is able to feel life, energy, source, essence only when it is in the zones between the plus and the minus, between the 100% perfect good and the 100% perfect evil. Only when we are in the zone of transition between the dualities, only then we are able to feel, to use, to transmit the energy of life. And it is happening in everything in us, in all our cells, in our being, in our consciousness, in our intent, in everything that is internal, and also in everything that is external. If all the time we are just in a flat zone where nothing is happening, where there are no movements, where everything is equal, then you will not be able to feel energy, because energy is felt only if there are differences. And we are made for a reason to be beings that are not easily coming into coherence. In our brain, we have a left and right hemisphere that are constantly working into validation of each other and have their own personal responsibilities that are different than each other, and in a sense there is a duality put inside of us. And even some researchers are saying that actually each part of the brain has its own consciousness. Why are we not with one eye, for example, existing, or with 3 or 4 eyes, but exactly with 2 eyes when we are looking and having the transmission of the reality? And then every part of the eye is just taking, and then they have the double image, and then it is constantly coming into each other into completion in order to receive the whole picture. It is done with a purpose. Everything in life that is built inside of us, and everything when it is created to be symmetrical or to be opposite, it's also done for the purpose. In order electromagnetic fields to exist, we need to have the plus and minuses in order to be created these so-called toroidal fields. The toroidal fields are working in such a way that the biggest power and the plasma or the electricity or the sparks of life are able to happen only in the middle between the two toroidal fields that are created based on the plus and minuses. I know a lot of people are willing to say that there is no such thing as opposites in reality, as for example in the mythos and the different stories about creation, where we have the above, we have the heavens, we have the good things, then we have the earths, and then we have the underworld where are hell and a lot of negative things. We don't like negative. We want only positive. Only with positives, it's impossible toroidal fields and the electromagnetic field to exist. So in life, for example, if we are having only positive experiences, if we want to be only in high vibration, if we want to experience only things that are part of the positive, then we will not be able to tap into the electromagnetic field. Why the electromagnetic field is important? Because only through it we are able to come into the middle of the coherence, from where the plasma and the electricity is working. Let me tell you a story about the first killing and the first murder that is written in the Bible. Maybe there are also other stories in other ancient books, but this is something that I'm reflecting upon for a long time. It is why actually Cain killed Abel, because there are a lot of different interpretations of the story, but the story goes that both of the brothers gave some type of gifts and sacrifices to the gods above, and the killing became because one of the sacrifices was accepted and one of the beings were validated, and the other one's sacrifice was not validated from the gods, and actually he became envious and killed his brother. But there is much more behind this story, because when I was reflecting about this, why we human beings are to be in a necessity to call for higher beings, and also why we are searching for something with which to be aligned, which is above us. From the perspective of the toroidal fields and the electromagnetic fields, one of the brothers actually was able, through himself and through the way he was expressing, to be validated. But how was the validation of the sacrifices made then? Actually, it is happening only through a consuming fire that is coming out from the physical matter reality. This is one way this validation is done. And I don't know what happened with the second sacrifice, but for sure, everyone knew, not only Cain or the brother that was not validated, and the brother that was validated also knew that he was accepted and validated. Actually, if you think what we are doing constantly in our daily experience in reality, whatever we are doing, whatever efforts, or if you take away the word effort and put the word sacrifice, whatever sacrifices we are doing daily into our physical matter reality, when things are happening according to our wishes and desires, we feel like we are validated from the invisible designers and architects of the reality. When the things we are wishing, willing, and doing are resisted, and appearance and manifestation is not revealed, then we feel like something is wrong, and so on and so on. And that's why in life you can see and say for some people, wow, this person is very lucky. Everything that he starts doing, it looks like that something invisible is helping him. And then there are other ones of us that whatever we are trying to do, everything is just not able to succeed. And of course, some of us immediately go into the wackiness and into different type of practices in order to be able to come to a validational processes with the reality, where we know that everything we do as sacrifices is accepted. But once we understand how the electromagnetic field works, we are going to understand that in reality is validated only coherence in the middle. Only alignment is validated. Only being in synchronicity and synergy is when we are validated in reality, not by other people, but we feel it with our inside being that what we are doing is something that is validated from the way everything is happening then in the outer reality. Then we have another problem. We want immediately to go into the effects and into the results and to try to duplicate them, while we are forced, promoted to actually always look on the machine that we are, a machine that is constantly generating electromagnetic field that is able to interact with all the electromagnetic fields around it. And only when it is a coherent electromagnetic field that is aligned with everything that is in reality, only then we are validated, we feel the force, we feel the power, we feel the energy, we feel the flow, and so on and so on. And then our feelings becomes a feedback that everything that we are, that everything that we are moving towards, that everything we are seeking, that everything we are asking is part of a real validation and acceptance. And everything happens from within. Once we understand that this is a very important and very crucial subject, then we are going to research it more. And of course, for some reason, it is only possible by the power of the virtues. Once a human being is trying to be non-virtuous, trying to be selfish, trying to be thinking about himself, immediately the electromagnetic field around him starts to work in opposite direction. It starts to bring into his reality everything opposite to what the being wants. So in ourself, for example, if you think that here is the plus and here is the minus, only when we are strongly putting the positive for others and the beneficial for others up front before we think about ourselves, then our electromagnetic field is working rightly and we are validated. Immediately when we turn and we first ask for ourselves, at the expense of whatever, and once we're willing to take out from reality what is ours and what we deserve, immediately the electromagnetic field is turned into the opposite direction and everything works like vortex into a negative experience for us, because reality is willing to support us, to be in alignment, to be in synchronicity, and to be rightly positioned so that we become beneficial beings for each other, and our authentic toroidal fields are actually supporting each others. And for me, this is a very great and wonderful subject, and it is part of a much more bigger picture. You can go with it on a very small, particular level, then you can go onto a macro cosmical level with it. But long term, you are to understand that all of us are part of generating the electromagnetic fields, which are invisible, and we are responsible for our own personal energy and the field that we are creating, because the field that is around us is later on creating different reality for us. And that's why it's never possible to have different reality than what we have in any given moment, because of the way we generate our own personal electromagnetic fields. Because in the end, there is 100% objectivity in the way the electromagnetic fields are working. And there is no possibility for subjectivity there. Everything works according to the design, or we are to enter into what we are designed to be and to be expressing, or we are experience opposition and everything that we are not willing actually to experience. I know all of us want to feel and to experience the fullness of life. We want everything beautiful and perfect for ourselves. And all the time, reality is encouraging us quite the opposite, to start thinking how we as human beings to become value for others, and then what is beneficial for us is going to appear for us. And this is a very small part of how reality is working, not according to our perception, not according to the way we would like it to work. There is no possibility for thousands of millions of different ways of reality to work. Yes, we can create our own unique type of realities, but based on the electromagnetic field that has its own and only way of working. And this is why all of us, it doesn't matter how we label the way we view the world, it doesn't matter how many types of religious experiences we can think about, there is only one way, and this way is when our body, our mind, our spirit, all our surrounding is working in coherence and in the right electromagnetic interactions. And then we start to realize how the causality realm that is creating the effects is much more important, and how all my invisible appearance in reality becomes much more important, because from it, everything that I see is created. And that's why whenever you want to shift something, whenever you want to correct something into your personal data stream and physical matter reality, go into the invisible and start thinking firstly about how is your posture, or how is my electromagnetic field working today? Am I vibrant? Am I energetic? What is my vibe? What is my glow? What is my flow today? And from there, everything else starts to appear just according to how it should be. And this is it for today. I would encourage you all to deep dive into the construct of reality, into understanding why we, the human beings, are the way we are, what we are, why we are, where we are going, what is our direction. A lot of fundamental questions. If we know and are aware about, then everything that is difficult for us in the moment starts to become part of our effortless living, because now we understand and know that reality is much more than just a small, selfish understanding of some principle and, so to say, recipes of success. So thank you for watching today. Enjoy your reality. If there is one thing I encourage everyone, is to never stop searching, to always explore, and to deep dive into the deepness of life. Thank you for watching. Enjoy your reality, and expect soon in February, when I'm going to release 10 scholarships for people to go through ruling reality basics with me for 1 month. Bye-bye.